As good as I can feel before I've like decompressed. So I feel like it hasn't like sunk in yet. Like I just feel like you're still going at 100 miles an hour. So I'm waiting for it to like sink in, but I'm definitely very excited. I'd say I'm very excited. No, not at all. I was not expecting it to be unanimous. That's the last thing when I was like racking my head about like if I take Enzo, how are the votes going to go? Like I just never thought it would be unanimous. I was blown away by that, and I'm like grateful for it. I thought that Tyler could be a huge toss-up. We played Tyler, Enzo, and I were so tight, and I didn't know which game Tyler would have liked better. He was one. David was another one that I was like, I feel like David was tight with Enzo too, and like I was tight with David, but like I didn't know how that vote was gonna go. Davon was very tight with Enzo. And so there was a lot of like, and it was more like, I was like, oh man, these relationships were in this house. Like, I don't know if they're going to view gameplay or relationships or his gameplay is better. And maybe I had no idea. I think you just rack your head so much and it's hard to really think like, oh yeah, I played great. They're going to give me the vote. It's like the furthest thing that you think. That week is when I decided, because I would go through scenarios in my head like, if Nicole wins and takes me, how do I think the votes are going to go? If I win and take Nicole, how do I think the votes are going to go? If I win and take Enzo, how do I think the votes are going to go? And so with those three different scenarios, like I was racking my head and I felt like if Nicole took me, she would have beat me. If I took Nicole, it would have been very close, could have gone either way. And if I took Enzo, like, I think there was more people that I was like, I think it could be a toss-up. Like they may like Tyler, I was like, he could vote for Enzo, but he could vote for me. Where like with Nicole, there were some people where I was like, they're definitely voting for Nicole. Like I felt more confident with that. And so that weighed heavily on me. The fact that she had won before weighed heavily on me. And I wanted there to be like a new winner, like a back-to-back winner on an all-star season. Like I wanted there to be a new winner too. Like that's how in my head, I was envisioning the finale. And so the only way to really solidify that would have been to cut her. So it was as hard as it was. I felt like, I don't know, it was the right choice, obviously, but in the moment, I wasn't as sure as I am now, obviously. So much, like so much. I think the first time playing, I feel like I played a fraction of Big Brother. Like I feel like I was relationship driven and that was it. And Derrick was strategy, relationship, like we need to do this and this is why we need to do it. And so for me, like at the end when I took him, it was just simple. It was like, I'm taking Derrick. And then costing me when I went back and had conversations, people were like, oh no, we would have voted for you if you cut Derrick. And like knowing that is bad. Like it was not, I didn't feel like as great knowing that, you know? And so this time, if I would have taken somebody, if I won the final HOH in my head and I took somebody and lost, it would have hurt way more than the first time and would have been something that it would have probably haunted me way more than the first season was. And so I didn't want to make that mistake again. I don't know. I think I have so much respect for the winners and like Derrick and Will. Like I watched so much of Will before this because I feel like I didn't know Will's game. I knew Dan and I knew Derrick because I played with him, and then I watched Will and I just picked up a completely different aspect of the game that Will played with, combined with playing with Derrick and then seeing what Dan was doing. Like, I don't know how I rank because I feel like I took pieces of their games and I don't feel like I projected myself past any of them. I just feel like if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would have had the game because I was just a student of their games. And so mostly Derrick because playing with him was incredible, but I don't know. I definitely don't rank myself as good as them. I don't know, as weird as that. I just don't. I think that they're incredible. He's the best. We would talk a lot, but he wouldn't overwhelm me with like, yo, this is a strategy you need to do. He like almost like boosted me, like, dude, you know how to play this game. Like you were very underrated on 16. Like you just need to go and do your thing. And so like having that and like knowing how confident he was in me was amazing. And he was like, you know, like what went on our season, like you were involved in everything. Like you just need to go and be yourself, do the same thing. And then at the end of the game, like blow through comps the same way you did on 16 and like that's what carried us at the end of the game. And I feel like just like talking with him, he was like such a good like coach of like making me believe in myself. Like you can easily go to the end of this game and win. Like you were incredible on 16. And so that was what was biggest and most beneficial for me with Derrick. We didn't he didn't overwhelm me with strategy, because I feel like he put on me like, you know what you need to do. And so I just did a lot of I mirrored a lot of what was going on in our season and decisions that Derrick was making for what I was doing in this game.
Right.
So like, we didn't have to talk about strategy because I was standing next to him through everything. And his thought process was like, almost like Mr. Miyagi'd me on this season. Like his stuff was in my head constantly. And then I was like, okay, I think this needs to be what we do or what I need to do. And so, you know, I still think he's one of the best, if not the best. Nicole and I had not spoken at all leading into this, and then we were like in contact, but it wasn't anything like that really held true. Nicole and my relationship blossomed in the house, because for me, Nicole was somebody I was like, I don't know that she's going to trust me. I burned her. And then she said something to me very early on, like, I didn't trust your brother because of you. And so then for me, building the bond with Nicole is what I think was so strong about our duo, is like there was a bond building between the two of us that made us so strong that like all the people like, and I would hear a lot of people talking, and I don't talk to anybody. I don't stay in touch with people from Big Brother. I wasn't in that world of like staying in contact. And so I heard stuff was happening, but I always was like, raw, authentic relationships face to face are going to outweigh if somebody talks to somebody and they have something previously. And so like Nicole and I built trust through the game, because Nicole and I were never doing stuff to each other that were crossing each other, where other relationships that I think were forming, like may have formed previously, were kind of like burning each other and like lying and then causing distrust. And that's why like I don't think anything previously with her and I had anything to do with our season, other than like we built trust with each other, we're familiar with each other from 16, and then grew based off of that. But part of it was also like, that was part of my authentic relationship with Enzo. Is like her I clicked with right away, and him I clicked with right away. And they never gave me a reason to not trust them. Yeah, I did not want anybody to know. The only person that knew was Derrick. I'd spoken to Derrick because we were like talking about going back. And I was like, I don't want anybody knowing. I'm not talking to anybody. I don't talk to anybody. I'm not in touch with people from Big Brother, and I don't want people knowing, because I don't want people thinking he's going to be talking to this person, he's going to be talking to this person. And I was hearing all the rumored names. And so I was hearing different conversations that were happening, and I was hearing a lot about that. And so I was like, I don't want to be a part of this, because I don't want that target to be on my back. And so I think it very much so helped me like laying low, not mentioning anything to anybody, and not trying to form those like previous alliances that I think, I don't know, I didn't think it was going to be beneficial for me. I wanted to have authentic relationships in the house. And so that was why I think it also benefited me, like, because then I don't think people were prepared, like, oh, Cody. You know, they saw me and were like, oh, he was just Derrick's sidekick when I was in there, except for Kaser. He didn't think that. I loved Kaser. I just, I met Kaser, was like almost like in awe. I was like, holy cow, all-star. He was on the other all-stars. Like, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they went back for Kaser. Like, he wasn't somebody that was like a name for me. Because I watched more recent shows, not past shows. Like, he was a huge name in the past. And so for me, I was like, oh my gosh, Kaser. But then I talked to him, and there was just something that I didn't trust about him. Like, he seemed so calculated when he spoke. He seems so calculated, and it's because his brain works like a computer. Like, he is calculated. He's so calculated. And I think if Kaser could maybe like loosen up a little bit, he would be absolutely incredible. Because when he has conversations, he would kind of like, it was like, I was like, I don't know, there's something about him I didn't trust. But personally, like, he was one of the easiest people to talk to. I would talk to him about business. I told him my whole thing about like a business thing that went wrong for me. And he gave me like X, Y, and Z and was like, you need to talk to me after this if you're ever going to do something like that again. Like, personally, he was so incredible. But on a game level, like, I feel like him and I just kind of like pegged each other and were like, we don't trust each other. And that's where the disconnect happened. And it just went in my favor, because people that were aligned with me were winning. And people that were aligned with him were just going home. So I think that's where our disconnect. But like personally, I loved Kaser.
Well,
And I didn't like that he blew me up on a live show. I was like, wait, what? There was a I didn't like when he said the love triangle thing. But I mean I didn't think he meant it personally. I just was like, dude, you're so calculated, like you couldn't think that how that would not be good for us three. Like, I don't know. And we don't need reasons in there. Like, we're all so nervous about like our significant others on the outside. I think that also like weighed heavily on us too. No. Danny and I were so close. Danny and I were so close. And Danny was somebody that I would have 100% been loyal to if it wasn't for like the game that she was playing. There was too much stuff that caused me to just be like, I don't trust Danny fully, and I trusted Nicole 100%. And so for me, and then like on a personal level, like Danny and I really clicked. Like we really got along. And so that's why I think it was a combination of the personal plus the game, and her feeling like I had her back 100%, and me burning her is what hurt the most. Because I think there was something that happened in the house, and it was when Tyler was trying to maybe like get stuff going against her. She knew that I knew about it. And then when we talked, she was like, when I found out that you knew about it, it stung. And it made me be like, wow, like, do you really have my back? Like, and right there is when I knew like, oh man, when I vote her out, it's going to really be bad. If I vote her out, like if there became a moment where I vote her out, it was going to be really bad. So that was a really, really difficult one for me. Cause I love Danny. I thought she was awesome. I did. Cause I felt like Danny was one where I was like, I knew I needed to have her as an advocate. And that's why like I kind of like opened up to her in my goodbye message, because I was like, if I don't have Danny advocating for me, I'm going to be in trouble, because whoever she's advocating for, people respect her a ton because she is absolutely incredible at this game. And so I knew I needed her to be pushing for me in order to really win over the jury, because I feel like she could have pushed people in a direction that she wanted to, because she was doing that during the game. And so like I'm very thankful to even hear that, because I felt like if she wasn't, like it could have probably went in a different direction. The hardest point of the game was that middle point. It was the 5th week when Devon and Bailey were going up. And I was like, like I was in an alliance with Devon and Bailey. And I was like, this could get tricky if one of them come down, because if one of them come down and somebody else goes up, like I still wanted to send one of them home, because I was like, when am I going to get this opportunity? And so like, if one of them came down, that's when I was really nervous. I was like, this game could really blow up in my face if one of them come down and then we still try to send the other one home, because then the other one is going to be like completely distrusted. I feel like it was going to come down on me, because I felt like Devon didn't trust me. Bailey was always like an advocate in my corner when we had that Slick 6 alliance. And I think that if one of them came down and then we had to send the other one home, I would have been done. I feel like a lot of different conversations would have happened. And I feel like it kind of muted it, because then Danny won the next HOH. And so I feel like that point is when I was really nervous. I was like, oh, this could be a great opportunity, or this could be like a really bad opportunity for me. And so it ended up working out. But that's when I also feel like stuff started getting a little shaky. I was like, oh boy, like Devon could blow up the Slick 6. I don't know how Memphis and Christmas are going to take this. And then when she did it to Kevin, because then I had a conversation with Kevin, I was like, but Kevin didn't mention it to anybody else. And I was like, wow, like those moments are the ones where you like get by and need something to happen, and it did. And then, yeah, that was a really like rocky part of the game for me. If Big Brother ever calls, there's no way I cannot say yes. I would, if Christy lets me. And Christy, I don't know what she went through during this. I know it was definitely hard for her, but I appreciate everything Big Brother's ever has done for me. The first time was a great opportunity. This time is an incredible opportunity. So if they need me, who am I to say no?